Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And we are bringing back whale alerts to this channel. So if you want to see some of the biggest crypto moves for the day, then make sure you hit subscribe and feel free to check out my ongoing series with this. I will probably still cover the latest crypto news as well in a separate video, but let's go ahead and focus on the whale alerts here. And I'm noticing some pretty interesting patterns for the day. We're going to start with Bitcoin, and we'll talk about Ethereum at the end. So first up, we have 4,951 Bitcoin. That's over $310 million that was transferred from an unknown wallet to an unknown wallet. So when we're seeing these moves from unknown wallet to unknown wallet, a lot of times it's shuffling around. We've been seeing people concerned about wallets getting hacked lately. This might just be them in an attempt to try and keep things fresh and new. And up next, after that, 822 Bitcoin. That's $51.5 million that was transferred from Coinbase Institutional to an unknown wallet. Seeing it come from a centralized exchange to an unknown wallet, yeah, makes me wonder what's going on there. Now it gets more interesting because once again, 822 Bitcoin, the same amount that we just saw, right? So first transaction here, and then about 15 minutes later, again, 822 Bitcoin. And notice that it's a very weird number to pick. 822, we're not talking a flat 500, not even 800. It's 822, and it's not $50 million, it's $51.5 million from Coinbase Institutional to, again, an unknown wallet. So there's two transactions like that. Then we have a dormant address containing 500 Bitcoin. That's $31.3 million. That's been activated after 12.7 years. That's worth about $507,500 back in 2013, which is still a lot of money. If you invested $500,000 into Bitcoin back in 2013, you're already financially doing very well. Let's just be real. But having it be increased to such a value, $31.3 million, even with the massive pullback that's happened with Bitcoin, is pretty insane. Especially if you give the fact that Bitcoin starts making a run back to its previous all-time high, that person's going to have a lot of value. Then we have 812 Bitcoin. This is pretty close to what we're seeing. 822 before. This is 812. $50.9 million, almost $51 million from Coinbase Institutional to an unknown wallet. So we've got about 51 million, 51.5, 51.5. So we're talking 153-ish, $153 million. You know, just a little bit of money there. And up next, 1,164 Bitcoin. That's $74.3 million transferred from an unknown wallet to Coinbase Institutional. And see, then we're essentially moving backwards, right? We went from Coinbase Institutional to an unknown wallet, and then this is an instance where it went from an unknown wallet to Coinbase Institutional. So kind of a little bit of back and forth action going on there, all within around the same time. And then guess what? 1,164 Bitcoin, a little bit of a different value, but same amount of Bitcoin. Once again, from Coinbase Institutional to an unknown new wallet. So yeah, it seems a little weird. We have a difference of 4 minutes. So first, $74.3 million went from the unknown wallet to Coinbase Institutional. 4 minutes later, from Coinbase Institutional to an unknown wallet. Can you imagine that? Transferring that kind of amount of money to centralized exchange only for 4 minutes to then take it out. And then we have an amount that's fairly close. It's not the same, but 1,119 Bitcoin. And that was a few hours later. $71.4 million from an unknown wallet to Coinbase Institutional. So a lot going back and forth to Coinbase Institutional. 1,066 Bitcoin. That's $68 million from Coinbase Institutional to an unknown new wallet. And then we have 801 Bitcoin, $51.2 million from Falcon X to an unknown wallet. So 801 Bitcoin. Earlier we were talking about 812. It's pretty close. But yeah, from Falcon X to an unknown wallet, something really interesting seems to be going on. Why would they be choosing about the same amount? It could be to maybe confuse people out there now that they see that there's some big moves. They choose a value that's pretty comparable to that. So they're a little bit less of a target, if that makes sense. Because think about it, if people are trying to target getting their funds from them, one way they would do it is seeing what's going on with the whale activity transfers. And if they can identify one person, they might assume that what we're seeing elsewhere is also the same person when it's just merely a distraction. I might be reading into that too much. I'm probably reading into that too much. Then up next, we're going to move into the realm of Ethereum. We have 28,800 Ethereum, $53.7 million transferred from Coinbase to Beacon Depositor. I got to look into that more and find out what this is. Beacon Depositor. Seems pretty odd. But there's more. 34.5 million, sorry, 34,560 Ethereum. That's $64.4 million. Went from an unknown wallet to Beacon Depositor. So first from Coinbase to Beacon Depositor, then unknown wallet to Beacon Depositor. Then we have again 34,560 Ethereum from unknown wallet to Beacon Depositor. 20,800 Ethereum from an unknown wallet to Beacon Depositor. And then here we are, 5,293 Bitcoin. That's $336 million from an unknown wallet to an unknown wallet. Absolutely crazy. Okay, guys, that's the latest of what we've got going on for whale alerts, at least while I'm recording the video. And if you do like this series, you want to see it more, then let me know in the comments down below your thoughts, your feedback. I do appreciate it, guys. And we'll see you in the next video. Stay safe. God bless. Peace out.